to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stylez and Rosenberg.
Maxine Waters right now is the controversy, the talk, because she was marching with protesters, and they stopped her for an interview in regards to the Derek Chauvin trial. And check this out.
We're looking for a guilty verdict, and we're looking to see if all of the talk that took place and has been taking place after they saw what happened to George Floyd, if nothing does not happen, then we know that we've got to not only stay in the street, but we've got to fight for justice. But I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that is say guilty, guilty, guilty. And if we don't, we cannot go away.
And not just manslaughter, right? I mean...
Oh, no, not manslaughter. No. This is guilty for murder. I don't know whether it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first degree murder.
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
Now, things got heated in the courtroom during the Derek Chauvin trial. The judge denied the defense's request to declare a mistrial
because of her talking.
Comments.
Because of Auntie Maxine talking. They did the defense tried to say mistrial. The judge, though, did say on record, you can't have a mistrial for this, but it does give a lifeline to a potential appeal. Which, for me, saying that on record is basically giving a layup for, even after this case is decided today, for them to turn back around and try to unravel whatever the decision is. Is it today or tomorrow?
What, will we get the decision?
Yeah.
We don't know. As long as it takes them.
But, yeah, the jurors it's on them now. They could take days if they want to come up.
I guess, Laura, that's where I understand where Maxine Waters' heart is at, but that's where I don't really understand what she's trying to accomplish there, because ultimately it's now in the hands of a jury. So regardless of the result, I mean, it's all part of this system that we're stuck with. I'm just so down about this verdict in general, because I don't think the best case scenario is that great.
Well, that's where we were from the beginning, which is why we haven't been that emotionally involved, is because even the charges themselves, the best one, a second-degree murder, and by best I mean one with the best, I think, or with the highest years in jail, the most years in jail. It's hard to get.
And by the way, and let's say we get that. Let's say they get him on murder too. That's great. It's good to see in a high-profile case of a black person being killed for no reason by the police that we saw a conviction. That is positive and salute. Okay, nice. It doesn't change the system overnight. It's a small incremental step forward. And yet, if we get the worst case scenario, which is acquittal, we're looking at a really potentially bad situation. So I don't have a great feeling about any of this.
Here's a breakdown of who the jurors are. So out of the 12 jurors, 5 are male, 7 are female. 2 identify as white men, 1 in his 20s and 1 in his 30s. 4 identify as white women, 3 in their 50s and 1 in her 40s. 2 identified as mixed race women in her 20s and 1 in her 40s. And 3 identify as black men, 2 in their 30s, 1 in his 40s, and 1 identifies as a black woman in her 60s.
Listen, the prosecution did their job. From everything I could tell, in the 45 witnesses that they brought up, I really thought that the case was made that Derek Chauvin is guilty. I really do. I'm no law expert, but from what I could see, the case was made. Now it's in the jury's hands, and I'm nervous about it for sure. And I guess we'll figure out a lot by how long it takes them to deliberate. We'll see.
Right.
30 years
Were you
ago,
able to watch the closing arguments?
I didn't even watch the closing.
I didn't
Ebro,
watch.
Did
I
you
didn't
think
watch
it was
closing.
great?
I watched some little clips here and there. I didn't put any energy to this. I'm saving my energy for the end. 30 years ago, a jury failed to convict the LAPD officers who broke the law in their beating of Rodney King. 36 years before that, a jury failed to convict the men in the beating and murder and lynching of Emmett Till. This is on those levels, guys.
It is.
So this is a true
Yeah.
this is a true test of where we are in not only the judicial system and the justice system, which we know is working people say it's broken, but I would just like to assert it's working exactly the way it was designed. And supposed to work. But it's a true test. Let's see.
And it's interesting, though, because what it's a test of, is it a test of the justice system? Or is it really a random sampling of 14 Americans and a test of their mental space? You know, and where we are as a society, that when you see a white police officer with his hands in his pockets casually put his knee on a black man's neck until he dies, do you see that as criminal and worth punishment? And it's, to me, it's more ultimately a sampling of this jury.
That's
and
fair.
I'm scared about the result. I am.